Good evening from Wiesbaden, Germany. My name is Billy Reinstaller, and this evening I'm going to discuss the influence of the Episcopal Church in American history. In principio erat verbum, et verbum erat apud Deum, et Deus erat verbum. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1:1, Dewey Rheims Bible, in the 1962 Daily Latin Missal. This last Gospel of John is read at the conclusion of every traditional Latin Mass in the Roman Catholic Church, which is the Mass my family and I attend. This verse demonstrates the connection between my faith and Liberty University's biblical worldview point 3, namely that God has established order, intelligence, and truth in the universe and history, as the text from John 1 states. This biblical truth must be the foundation of knowledge, and in today's discussion post, I will attempt to provide some measure of the truth about the Episcopal Church in America and its influence on our nation. The roots of the Episcopal Church in America are in the Church of England, founded in 1534 when King Henry VIII broke from the Roman Catholic Church. Henry VIII, who previously had been named a defender of the faith for a 1521 treatise in support of the Seven Sacraments, wanted an annulment from his wife Catherine of Aragon so he could marry Anne Boleyn. Pope Clement VII refused, and Henry established himself as the head of the Church of England. In 1535, Pope Paul III excommunicated Henry for this and destruction of church property, and this was the start of the Anglican Church. During the colonial era, the Anglican Church was one of several denominations in the colonies, along with Congregationalists or Puritans, Quakers, Presbyterians, and others. In his article, The Anglican Outlook on the American Colonies in the Early 18th Century, Everett B. Green explains how the Anglican Church in America struggled to establish itself outside of Maryland and Virginia. This is due in part to a lack of available clergy and the fact that there were no Anglican bishops to ordain more priests. Additionally, it competed with a strong Congregationalist tradition in New England and a large Quaker presence in Pennsylvania, making it difficult to exert influence throughout the entirety of the colonies. During the Revolutionary War, the Anglican Church continued, although in an interrupted manner. The organization of the Anglican Church in America depended on local vestries, which were an advisory board to a particular parish. They provided financial management, hired employees, and managed daily affairs. Borden W. Painter's article, The Vestry in Colonial England, discusses how vestries and clergy often struggled over who had power in the parish, and one can view this as a microcosm of democracy at work, highlighting the influence of what would become the Episcopal Church in American government. Following the war, the Episcopal Church in America began to take shape. In 1784, Samuel Seabury of Connecticut traveled to Scotland to become ordained as an Anglican bishop. The next year, the first General Convention of the Episcopal Church was held, with clergy and lay representatives from Delaware, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and Virginia. During this meeting, an American prayer book was written, and the group takes the name of the Protestant Episcopal Church in the United States of America. By the time of the Civil War, the Episcopal Church, like many churches, split over the issue of slavery, but reunited amicably after the war. During this period, according to the Episcopal Church's website, the polity of the U.S. Episcopal Church was established via triennial general conventions. The local democratic governance structure of parishes stands in tension with the central government structure, wherein each diocese is led by a bishop. However, this structure has influenced our own form of government. Moving forward into the latter 20th century, the Episcopal Church, like many Protestant denominations, has seen a more liberal social influence. 1974 saw the ordination of women, and the Episcopal Church now supports a variety of social issues antithetical to traditional Christian virtues and values. Despite this, the Episcopal Church's influence on American society is undeniable for a variety of reasons. First and foremost, the Episcopal Church's development is directly tied to the birth of America as a nation. It developed in the wake of the American Revolution and helped to establish in it a distinctly American identity. This remains the case, and one can see this by the fact that 11 U.S. presidents have been practicing Episcopalians, which is more presidents than any other denomination. Additionally, the Washington National Cathedral, which is an Episcopalian church, has served as a visible sign of this since its construction in 1907. The Episcopal Church in America blends its Catholic heritage and Reformed theology into a denomination with over 1.3 million baptized members, and approximately 1.2% of Americans claim this denomination, according to the Pew Research Center. The Episcopal Church is an interesting blend of its Catholic and Protestant heritage, and its diverse membership represents the diversity